Hey guys, welcome back. I'm King DX, and I'm joined with,
Show 60.
and we're back for another edition of F2Talk. And today we're going to be talking about Destiny and the current state of the game. So to start it off, Show, let's get your thoughts. Where do you think Destiny is right now, and are you excited for the House of Wolves? Give me your take.
Well, first off, I just kind of, in a lot of ways, I want to apologize to the community on behalf of people who actually enjoy playing Destiny, because no one does that anymore. So, like, I mean, shit, I'm sorry. You know, we thought it was going to be good. I still personally enjoy the game. I mean, it's still a good game. It has its perks or its moments. But since House of Wolves still doesn't have a definitive release date, I think they just killed it.
So, my take on Destiny, the current state, and kind of what's going on with House of Wolves, is right now, I think they saw the backlash they received from the Dark Below, and in an attempt to save what they currently have going on with, the remaining fan base, they pushed back House of Wolves. Now, it's not really a bad thing that they pushed back House of Wolves, and my reason for this is because most of the people who bought the expansion pass, they're going to get, you got the Dark Below, and you're also getting House of Wolves. So since House of Wolves is technically, let's just say free, right, because it's already been paid for by most people, at this point, they don't stand to lose any money by pushing House of Wolves back. What they do stand to do is gain if they can actually have a successful launch of House of Wolves. A lot of people have stopped playing. They're now waiting for House of Wolves to come out to see if Bungie will be able to kind of rectify some of the problems that they've had with the release of the Dark Below. So I think that's potentially why they pushed it back. They do want to get some things right. I think there are some severe issues that they want to tackle, and hopefully they can do it. But as far as the game and as it is now, I just don't see anything that would keep somebody playing it.
Well, mind you, I don't work at Bungie, so I don't know all of the things that they work on, all the data they have from their servers. But considering that they're gonna do the whole Comet thing in September, I think it's an even dumber move. I'm gonna push it back as far as they did. Let's say, for the sake of argument, House of Wolves doesn't come out until May.
Okay.
Right. The Witcher 3 is out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The Witcher 2 is one of the best games on PC and console last generation. And what we've seen so far, seems to dwarf The Witcher 2 in The Witcher 3.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm just saying that there are going to be so many more things competing for your time at that point, that you got people who's, oh, hey, there's nothing for me to play on Destiny, I'm waiting for House of Wolves. Then there's also, okay, House of Wolves is out, The Witcher is out, Batman is out.
Yeah.
Battlefield Hardline is out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the same thing they have to contend with regardless. Because, for instance, so Dark Below came out mid-December. It's late February now. I can say that I've been kind of over the content from Dark Below for a couple weeks now. I'd say easily early February. So that means in 1 month, I was done with the content from the expansion pack. So if House of Wolves did drop on, let's say, March 10th, I'm still over it by April. It's the same scenario. Regardless, with the limited amount of content they're providing with their DLC, I don't see, even if it drops today, it keeping everybody on until September.
Oh, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's just that, think of the fall off.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, okay, you done with it after 30 days, right? Okay, you done after 30 days. If the expansion comes out another 30 days after that, there's a good chance for you to come back.
Yeah.
You done with the Dark Below in February, right? If House of Wolves don't come out until May, there's a good chance that you may not give a fucking comeback.
Well, I mean,
you see what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you won't come back, but that's too long. Like, how many? What game does that? You've got December, January, February, March, April, 4 months on an expansion like that. And then y'all not even bringing up that much content. It's like this. What was wrong with House of Wolves? I mean, what was wrong with the Dark Below? Okay, delete a couple things. Leave the shard currency the way it was from Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
Right? Don't have new vendor gear that invalidates the raid gear. Or if you do that, increase the raid gear to where, okay, if you go back and play Vault of Glass or Crota's Inn, it's now at the new levels if you get it.
Yeah.
And then problem solved. Like, dude, it's not fucking rocket science. Y'all ain't got to do that much. is the content even finished yet? I think that's actually the better question.
I think the content was finished, and I think, like they said, they learned a lot. Now, mind you, I went to school for game design and programming. Mm-hmm. Do I have a published game out there? No. So I'm not going to sit here and say I know all the ins and outs of the industry. It would take a third-rate fucking amateur to look at the Dark Below and say that shit was decent and acceptable for any type of fucking content. Like, and I mean that, like, from every gameplay design aspect I can look at it, from every angle, it's flawed. Every single angle. I mean, it alienates its user base at every single turn. Right now, and there's a running joke that me and a lot of guys we play with right now, we say, what's the difference between somebody who's been playing Destiny since day one and somebody who's been playing since Christmas? One level. That's it. It's the only fucking difference. And right now, that's not even the case for a lot of people. People were able to get to pretty much skyrocket to 31 within like 3 weeks. Like, that was something that it took a long time when the game originally came out, and it's their light level system that's essentially doing it. Now, one suggestion me and you had talked about before was perhaps using the motes of light, and depending on your armor, if you really like it, even if it's a rare, you can say, hey, okay, I want to put one mote of light into this armor, and now it's light level 1. And then if you want to have a cap on your armor, if you want to say, okay, well, armor can still only have a maximum amount of 46 light, or whatever the case may be, that's fine. But now at least I can make my gear. And it also helps with the problem of characters not being unique and individual. Right. Like, that way you can you get a lot more out of that game.
But see, one of the biggest mistakes they made was in Destiny's core. Like, okay, they used the armor to increase the light level, which actually, on paper and in the concept, I think it's a good idea. But I think the way they implemented it is completely flawed. Like, using the light level and the motes of light to mess with your armor to give a degree of customization would have been perfect. But it's like, okay, you increased the level cap, right? Mm-hmm. But didn't increase the way you level up. You made the way you level up according to how you acquire armor, which is still based off a random drop, so to speak, in the raids. Yeah. As opposed to actually giving enough content for people to increase their base levels. Yeah. And it's like that structure alone is what's flawed.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. Let's look into just the weapons themselves, right? So, when you get your first exotic, you're all happy. My first exotic was Suros. I thought it was a rubber duck at first. I was fucking excited. I was like, oh shit, I got a rubber duck. That's kind of what the picture looked like to me. It was a long night. Anyway, with that being said, there comes to a point that by the time you're ranked 20, all your gear is primarily legendary. There's never really a reason to have an uncommon, a common, a rare. And at this point, the way Destiny's structured, I don't see how you ever validate those items again. Like, how do you make the gunsmith beneficial to anybody other than for fucking Pocket Infinity? Like, there's
Pocket
really
Infinity, nah, invective.
Well, I'm just talking about Pocket Infinity because you have to shard the 10 rare fusion rifles to get it. But other than that, I'm just saying there isn't anything that Destiny is offering in terms of content to make the experience better on the user, or to encourage the user to really want to get out there and do a lot. Like, I think originally when the game started, you had your progress level at the bottom and you gained experience to the character. That's when the game shined. The moment the light level comes into play, that's when the game falls off. And with the Dark Below, it's just one of those things where it was just, kicks to the balls after kicks to the balls. That's just all it was. Now, I'll say that the drop rate is a lot better on the Dark Below. Personally, I feel like, there weren't a lot of people saying, "Oh, I still don't have armor. I still don't have this." I feel like people are generally getting what they want. A lot of people don't have Crux or Crota, but it's an exotic. It's rare. That's to be expected. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Hell, I just got my mythical class like a month ago. Mm-hmm. But for me, actually, the down point in Destiny came to me the moment I got Gjallarhorn. Because at that point, there wasn't another weapon that I needed. Like, Gjallarhorn is almost so powerful in itself that it's powerful enough to kill your Destiny experience. Because, when you're playing Destiny, because they put so much emphasis onto this grind for weapons, to this grind for armor that when you finally achieve that goal,
there's nothing else for you.
There's
nothing else to do.
Exactly. And that's been the downfall. And hopefully with House of Wolves, they can, like the suggestion that I gave earlier would be the only thing I can really think of that would be like a saving grace. They either find a way to make the light system beneficial across the board for every single item in the game. Where they can gain and achieve light. Even if it's bounties that, hey, do this bounty and you can put 3 points of light towards a weapon. Something. But, the same repetitive bounties, the same, boring weeklies, heroic, nightfalls. It's just not going to hold. Even the PvP experience is dwindling. For instance, Iron Banner. Last Iron Banner, they were supposed to add more maps into the rotation. They claimed it didn't happen because of a bug. This Iron Banner, those maps still aren't in a rotation. So that makes me feel like their fucking code is being held together with duct tape. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like they have like one tampon to catch the bleeding and then duct tape just wrapped around their motherfucking code. And that's the only thing that can describe this clusterfuck that they have. That's the only thing that can describe why we had this heavy ammo bug that sat there for fucking ever. Just this game is broken fundamentally. And to be honest, I don't think they can fix the original Destiny.
So with that said, the game is fundamentally broken, and we know that like a lot of people weren't happy with the Dark Below.
Yeah.
Like I know people who have deleted Destiny from their hard drive because of the Dark Below. So with that said, and the game being fundamentally broken, it's like, okay, you taking months to put House of Wolves out, and that, like if they're actually taking their time to perfect the raid and give you more of a Vault of Glass experience with the raid, just to take a step back, I actually enjoyed Crota's in raid. I think it's good, buggy as shit, yes, but I think it's because it's it's like the exact opposite, of the Vault of Glass, and I like that. But it's like unless they're really spending all their time and resources on making the next raid good, they might as well put that content out as soon as possible to appease people who still play the game.
I agree.
Because you got some people who aren't coming back regardless of what they put out.
Well, let's look at it this way. So we're looking at it from the eyes of people who've had the game since day one, which it came out in September. Now let's see, that's October, November, December. So we'll say 3 months before a lot of people got the game. A lot of people got the game on Christmas, right?
Right.
So if it took us, we'll say 4 months for us to burn out. We'll just say roughly 4 months for us to really get through all the content and enjoy it and be done with it to where we're at right now. If we say the same thing for those people, then that gives them to about April, maybe late April before those people run out. Then at that point, you really do risk the chance. So maybe we see some content come out late April.
If we don't see a release date in the first couple weeks of March, I don't think it's coming out in April.
Well, let's put it this way. Do you want it to release with 3 story missions and 1 new strike and
but that's all they're doing anyway, though. They never sat back and said, I can be misinformed. They never sat back and said, hey, we're going to put 6 new story missions.
You're right.
A new raid. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, first off, let's not act like most of that content isn't already in the code. You know what I'm saying? Ain't the raid for House of Wolves, the arena supposed to happen on the reef?
Yeah.
That piece of the map that's been blotted out since the game been out, that technically shouldn't even be there.
Hey, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like let's not pretend like y'all they're putting out a bunch of new content when they aren't. They're saving that for a comment or whatever they're gonna do in September.
I think they're fixing it. I do think they're trying to fix the raid. Now, what I don't like is how they're trying to artificially make our experience, drag it out. Like things like releasing normal Crota and then one day we'll just fucking decide to flip on hard mode. Hard mode wasn't ready. Bullshit. I guarantee hard mode was ready.
I support them on what they did with hard mode because the Vault of Glass was so broken when it first came out. To me it made sense. Because there are certain things with these games that you can't play test. There's certain bugs you won't find until it's actually live online.
When's the last time you went back and played Vault of Glass on hard?
We can't even call it hard anymore.
What I mean is, if you go back, you'll see that they actually haven't fixed anything. The only thing that made Vault of Glass on hard easier that we finally got to the level that Vault of Glass is on. A lot of those bugs are still there. The relic still disappears. Motherfuckers go through portals and don't come out.
I was talking about knocking Ethion off, and the way I was talking about the cheese. They
only fix the exploits that benefit the players. That's why I said it seems like there's almost a boxing match between Bungie
and the community.
Yeah, because every time the community does something, Bungie has so much energy and they're so butthurt in their game not being played the way they want it to be played. You know, that whenever the community comes up with a way or a strategy that they don't like, that is not, you know, acceptable to Bungie goes out of their way to patch it. But when we complain about things like the relic disappearing, the sword disappearing, knights running through fucking glass, when we start complaining about the bugs, none of that shit gets addressed. It's just, oh, we're aware of the issue. Well, when the fuck are you gonna fix it? Vault of Glass is still broken.
Let's talk about heavy ammo.
They claim a patch is coming out soon, end of this month.
Yeah, but this the problem I have, right? Which it's something that they should patch it, right? But then why not? Hey, since we got so many millions of people playing this game, so many millions of people complain about the same shit. Hey, let's lower the price of heavy ammo synthesis until we fix the problem. Let's lower the price. Let's make it more accessible.
Because they don't care. They honestly don't want you to easily be able to go through and beat Crota.
So with that said, why should we even play the game?
I agree. And here's the thing, though. I think from a gameplay standpoint, now when I say gameplay, I'm not talking about how you level up. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm just talking about the core fundamentals of a good shooter, a good co-op game. I feel like those are there. I think those are there, and they're so well tuned that it does keep you playing it. I feel like PvP is great, even though I think Fist of Panic and fucking fusion grenades from Warlocks are some bullshit. I'm just gonna be honest. I think there's some bullshit. They hit kind of fucking high in the air, really fucking high in the air. But you know, that good experience is there, but it's so much negative experience. There's so much negative feedback that the community has, and it's all for a good reason. I don't even feel like this is a case where people are just bitching. You know, a lot of times you have people bitch. They'll look at a game like Smash Brothers and they'll say Little Mac is overpowered. You know, they'll look at any game out there. There's always a character that's a little stronger, and everyone wants to bitch about it. Everybody wants to fuss instead of adapting. In this game, you know, even with me bitching about the Titans right now and the Warlocks, I'm just joking, really, when I'm saying that to some extent. It's not really one of those things that gets me upset. But, you know, when I watch Bungie do things and make design decisions that can only come from a place of, you know, almost like agitation. It's almost like they're agitated that we're going through their content so quick. And the reason I say that is, there's two reasons I'm kind of not playing Destiny anymore. One, Gjallarhorn. Have Gjallarhorn. I don't see a reason to really do Nightfalls anymore. What exotic drop am I going to get that I really don't have already? Nothing. So I don't worry about it. Now, the second thing is Crota hard mode. Crota hard mode is, if Gjallarhorn is 40% of the reason I don't play, the other 60% is Crota hard. Because that thing is so buggy, it almost goes without reason that they released it. Like, for instance, recently they just did a playthrough of Crota, and they opted to do it on normal. They didn't opt to do it on hard. Now, you guys make this game. You know, if you're complaining about the way we're playing it, if we're cheesing and cheating, show us the way it's supposed to be done. You know, hard mode is just such a clusterfuck. From Crota getting up whenever the fuck he feels like getting up, to, you know, his shield being down but him not taking a knee. All types of shit. Him coming off the platform. There's just so many bugs that it got to the point where I just couldn't fight the bugs anymore. It wasn't Crota. It wasn't the wizard. It wasn't the boomers. It was the bugs. The bugs I can't fight.
But I feel like with Crota coming off, because I was shocked the first time it happened, but that happened on normal so many times when we went through it. And then it's like, look at how the bridge is structured. Who's to say Crota can't come off? Just because he doesn't mean that he couldn't.
He should. He should do more than he fucking does. Like, you're a fucking demigod or some shit who can summon a fucking planet soul eating piece of shit. Hell, why don't you just start off every fucking fight like that? Why waste time? Fucking oversoul, kill everything, go back about your business, take a shit, go get a sub sandwich.
Nah, you say that until they implement that into playing it. For everyone who plays Crota, Then it's like, oh man, take down the oversoul.
What, Guardians Must Die mode?
Yeah,
That's what they can call it. Guardians Must Die.
I don't. My experience from how we talked in the past, my experience with Crota on hard has been a bit different. Mm-hmm. Now me, I don't actually have a team of people I play with.
Okay.
I got a few here and there, but I generally just play with people off the forums who need help.
Okay.
And those have been the smoothest raids I've ever played.
But I think when you find people dedicated enough to go to a forum, that means that they're willing to put forth the effort to work and get things done a lot of times. And it's just, people like you, people who have jobs and people who, maybe they don't have faith in a lot of the team members. There might be one or two that I play with that sometimes I'm like, if this fucker dies right now, if he goes out there, sure enough, goddamn Crota puts his sword up, and I'm like, motherfucker. And I gotta look at the bottom of the screen to figure out who it was, and I'm like, yep, that seems about right. But my issue with Crota, bugs, obviously being number one, but number two is the fact that they artificially inflated the difficulty. They made it level 33. They made it above what we can actually be just to make it drag out longer.
But I've still beaten Crota in like 10 minutes flat.
That's fine, but why? What was the need? I guess you have to look at it. What's the reasoning behind it? How does that really make it more challenging other than just putting you're capping us on what we can do as far as damage?
I mean, yeah, but when you look at like what Crota's in, I think just the boss encounter with Crota, I actually like what Bungie did. Even with having the chalice on normal and taking it out on hard, because it actually forced you to use exotics that you thought were useless.
I agree.
It bought things that, you know what I'm saying, things that didn't matter in a Vault of Glass, or things that's been in the game since the game came out. It actually bought that into the actual game mechanics.
A lot of red deaths, Suros, Mask of the Third, things like that.
Man, the Apothos Veil,
mm-hmm.
that was one of the first exotic pieces of armor I got. I thought it was trash.
Yeah.
I just kept it. Someone told me, "Hey, don't discard it. Keep it. You never know."
Yeah.
Now I'm in Crota's in like, man, y'all complaining about health. I'm fine. Radiance, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that, and it's like I said, to me it just really seems like they wanted to go out of their way to make this as hard of an experience they could, but they didn't actually put in the work to make it hard. It feels like they just put in things that they knew would be problematic, and they don't try to actually balance any of that stuff out. Like the wizard dropping down from the top and, seeking in on you with fucking homing darts of arc death. Just...
And like, I get it. I understand your frustration, but then it's like, I guess since I've played with people in the forums and like there's so many ways around it. Like, hey, guess what? Don't kill the boomers.
Yeah.
Or, hey, guess what? Kill one of the boomers. Don't kill both of them. Just kill one of them on one side.
Yeah.
Or if the wizard comes out, I got Gallahorn.
I mean,
two Gallahorns problem solved.
Exactly, and that's another reason I say Gallahorn is almost a problem with the game as well, because it kind of, I mean, obviously Gallahorn isn't the end all be all, but as far as any content where you have one target, well, what I mean is whenever you have one target, I mean, Gallahorn just does so much damage. But getting off Crota's end for a second, let's talk about the strike. Let's talk about Omnigul. How did they expect us to fight Omnigul? Omnigul's in a very small room. There's boomers everywhere. What area did they plan for us to stand and fight her, other than inside of that doorway?
Well, I think people actually play Omnigul the way they intended to play Omnigul, and just my opinion is that they wanted that particular game, that piece of gameplay to be kind of like a cat and mouse thing.
Okay.
You clear everybody out, you attack Omnigul, then you retreat and clear Omnigul out again.
Okay.
Like there is a room. I mean, of course I have prior to the show, but there's a room on behind Omnigul that everyone can get into. The problem is that when she summons the wizards, everybody firing in there. So it was like two people shooting at Omnigul, one person picking them up.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's something that Bungie would consider cheese. And I think it's even worse where, their community manager tries to make light and, poke fun of some of these things. Like, hey, we're going to do this without cheese and all these little corny ass jokes. It's like, honestly, the best updates come when he's not around. And it's not necessarily his fault. Obviously, he's a community manager. It's his job to try to, make news as exciting as possible. But at this point, he's part of the reason that people are starting to really dislike this game, because it almost seems like Bungie's smelling their own farts and thinking they fucking smell delicious. Like Bungie's so high up on their own goddamn shit right now that when they do shit, it's like, here you guys go, look at this wonderful thing we did. Like right now, one of the new things that's going to be in the patch is when you check your inventory, you'll now be able to see your reputation rank for all of your different factions inside of the menu at any time. That's good, but is that worth me patting you on the fucking back for? Not really. I mean, that doesn't fix all the other problems with the game. You're not going back and fixing any of these bugs with Vault of Glass, with Crota's End. It's like you're so busy, quote unquote, adding new content that you're not even fixing the shit that's broke.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so you added this new thing in, but then, like, who cares about the reputation? You know what my rank is with everything outside the Vanguard and Crucible?
What?
0.
Well, and here's another thing. You guys had time to work on this reputation thing. Where the fuck is the vault space? Where is it? Are we waiting for more DLC for vault space to come? Because if so, it's just bad choices after bad choices. Even with No Land Beyond, everybody I know, everybody and their fucking grandmother keeps getting No Land Beyond after every Nightfall now. It's like, here, I got No Land Beyond. They keep selling it. Like, even the exotics that they released in the Dark Below are much, much worse than the original exotics.
Yeah, but I think that may boil down to just development time. Like, honestly, just looking at how everything panned out, I don't think a lot of stuff that's in the Dark Below was completed at Destiny's launch.
No,
I think they had more time to make the original content. That's why the Vault of Glass is the way it is. That's why the exotics are so good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Actually, I have a theory, and it's just a theory, but my theory is that there's a whole section of the Crota's End raid that never made it into the final raid. And my reason for that is, if you look at the transitions, now the transitions between, all of these different the raids, it's only been 2, obviously, but, if you look at when you're in Vault of Glass, everything is seamless. Everything flows smooth. It seems cohesive. It seems like one unit. It's all built on top of each other, right? There's no real gaps. If you look at Crota's End, after you get through the abyss and you go through the bridge, all of a sudden there's just this white light you go into. You go into this white light, all of a sudden you teleport to this like castle or some shit. That's never really explained. You know what I mean? Like, that to me doesn't feel like it was supposed to be there. That's probably also the reason that originally when it dropped, there were only 3 loot drops instead of 4. I think there was a whole section before the bridge that you were supposed to do.
That's possible. The only thing with the loot drops was that, like, you originally didn't get anything off the Templar.
The Templar?
It was, no, not the Templar, the Oracles. Like, on Vault of Glass, there weren't originally 4 loot drops.
I think
No, I'm wrong. Those were there. It's the Gatekeeper you didn't get originally.
The Gatekeeper, you mean on the bridge?
No, I'm talking about Vault of Glass. The Gatekeeper...
No, you never got... Oh,
no,
you did get a drop.
No, I'm saying, but originally you didn't. That was something that came in after the fact.
You sure?
Positive. Just like how the thing with not Omnigo, but the Death Singer.
Mm-hmm.
But then here's the thing. You want to get technical. The Death Singer is the second most difficult thing to do in Crota's End. Why was that not an original loot drop there? Doesn't make sense.
Well, here's something that doesn't make sense. You obviously knew that the first chest inside of the raid could contain an exotic. You knew that because you built it and you programmed it. So why is it that once people learned the first chest had an exotic in it and people were going to the chest every week, why was it such a goddamn issue that you needed to remove the exotic drop and place it somewhere else? You originally created it, but you said, oh, are my players benefiting from this? Oh, well, let me fuck them over again. And that's what I mean. It's those constant decisions that you can't help but look at and go, hey, well, fuck you too, Bungie. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where most people I know, they've moved on. They're starting to play Final Fantasy 14. I'm seeing them on Dying Light. They're going somewhere everywhere, and I can't blame them. Like my regular raid crew, we're still on in spurts, but the last time we actually all sat down together and did a raid, I couldn't tell you. Probably been, 3 weeks, almost a month ago now. And it's not because, we're not cool with each other or anything like that. It's just there's really not a benefit to it because there's nothing to look forward to anymore. The content just isn't there, and I don't know what Bungie can do. Either here's the situation Bungie's at right now. They need to immediately come up with a slew of content incredibly fast, and that's almost like a catch-22. It's a contradiction. I'm pretty much saying we need a lot of content really quick.
Well, that brings us back to the whole House of Wolves thing. When really, you should drop House of Wolves as fast as possible, right? Fix the initial problems that you have with the shards and stuff, and if anything else comes up, then you address it as accordingly, and then focus on this Destiny comment thing, because now mind you, a great game will sell any time of year, no matter when it comes out, but there's always less games come out during the summertime. People are on vacation, kids are out of school, people aren't really interested in playing video games. The biggest movies come out during the summer.
True.
So, hey, get that content out now. Appease your fan base, right? Mm-hmm. Then when August, September come back around, when the AAA titles start to come out right before holidays, bang, look, I got this new content for you. New raid, 20 new missions, 2 new strikes. Bang, we here. I got that massive content, boom, and it'll come. You know what I'm saying? It just, regardless of what anyone wants, Destiny's gonna die out.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast with a game. Anyway, no matter what game it is. So, hey, get that content out sooner. Let it phase out. Don't bang it with the competition and then come back hard.
Well, with any MMO, right, you have a grind. And, even though Bungie seems to go back and forth on whether this game is MMO or not, the problem with the grind here, and I mean, it happens in a lot of games in general. The grind is more than a grind. It's a boring, tedious, almost antagonizing grind that they've created. And all they really need to do is find a way to make that grind fun. And what I mean by that is, doing things like letting the motes of light power up your armor, having more bounties that have parts to them. Hey, go to the earth and pick up these for me. Bring me back 5 cores or whatever the hell they have. Because a lot of times you'll do those bounties.
Are you saying incorporate the exotic bounty structure into the normal bounties?
Yes. Do stuff like that, but then have the reward actually be something unique. Maybe something you can't get from a vendor. Maybe they can be, faction bounties, vendor bounties. You know what I mean? Like something that once you do it, maybe now the gunsmith will start selling legendaries. Something that, what I'm trying to say is have something that brings the world of Destiny into it. One good thing that they actually did do with the Dark Below is before you kill Crota, Eris has a different dialogue that she speaks to you, and then once you've killed Crota and you go to her, she's like, "Oh, I wish I could have seen Crota."
She started jocking you super hard.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get any head from her or anything. She got shit running from her face that looks.
So
contagious.
hold on, just to touch on Crota real quick, right? And this is my biggest problem with Crota's end, and I don't care what anyone says.
Don't forget, you got to call him the son of Orcs. He don't like when you
whatever. People probably gonna look at me as being corny or cheesy for saying this, but I'm like, didn't we just destroy this fucking crystal that had Crota's soul in it? So how the fuck did they put it back together so fast and we got to fight him now?
From what I'm getting, right, and I'm probably wrong. Maybe somebody will be nice enough to correct us and tell us how stupid we are. From what I get is Crota essentially arrives to planets through this crystal. So the soul is kind of like his transfer process. It's almost like a teleporter, right? So you have this crystal. They start summoning his soul to the crystal, and then after it gets strong enough, Crota can come through the crystal. If that makes any sense.
I get that, but we just, mind you, we destroyed the crystal, though.
Look,
we destroyed it. In Crota's awakening, we destroyed the crystal.
Let's look.
It went into a bunch of different pieces.
I mean, but
how the fuck did they get the... Okay. Here goes the easy, simple solution. Maybe it's 2 crystals. Maybe it's more than 1 crystal.
Maybe it's more than 1 Crota. He could have a twin brother. But look, first of all, we got to take some things into account. First of all, Eris is a stupid bitch. All right, let's get that out of the way. She's a very dumb bitch, and I'm gonna explain why she's so stupid. First of all, anyone who thinks it's a good idea to fucking melee curse thralls in the goddamn head 7 times straight, is a dumb bitch. And if that was her plan,
unless you're a warlock with flame shield,
I don't give a fuck. Bitch, if you're the fire team leader and the second Cursed Thrall started coming out, you was like melee him. No wonder you ain't make it out. I'm just saying.
No wonder they never made out the abyss.
I'm just saying. You like, go forth, Guardian, bitch. I ain't got no health, and you telling me to go forth? I'ma die. You know that ain't the type of leadership I want. She might want to stay her ass up there on the tower with her ship like tied to the fucking banister with a rope that I haven't been able to figure out.
But you know what?
Yet.
Eris is one of the best things that Eris. Not only is she one of the best things about the content, but her dialogue over the missions. Mm-hmm. That's one of the best things her addition is actually one of the best things to Destiny, in my opinion.
I don't know if you noticed this, but your ghost doesn't say anything through any of the new content.
Good.
But I'm just saying that shows. I don't know if they didn't want to get the voice actor to come back on and pay him money or what the case was.
No disrespect to the guy, right? Mm-hmm. But Destiny be better off without him.
He's the guy from the little guy from Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage, I believe is his name. And
like I'm just saying, like the ghost doesn't really add anything. And and my problem.
Where the damn ghost skins at? Speaking of which, when the fuck are they gonna drop one of those as a goddamn reward?
Damn skins. How about he just change color with my armor shader and call it a day?
I mean, the shaders are whole
what up? You right though? Why can't I get a different ghost? They had the one.
As many as I found. Many of those motherfuckers I revived.
Now I can't. Goddamn. Fuck.
They got more stories than my ghost. My ghost be confused as fuck. Yeah. Like, what did we just do, nigga? I don't know you, the ghost.
I was just dead a week ago, bruh. Come on. What the fuck, man?
Yo, you find that motherfucker in the moon, he's dead. It's like, he don't got his ghost. Well, nigga, pick him up. You pick me up, nigga. I was bones, nigga. Pick him up. He's like, I can't do it. He ain't got no light. Please stop with your bullshit. Just stop. From the Grimoire all the way to just...
my Grimoire score hasn't gone up.
Oh, really?
I know we straight Destiny geeking out right now. But it hasn't gone up. It's been going up on the screen. Mm-hmm. But it ain't been going up. My score hadn't been going up. Like my sniper rifle kills, my hand cannon kills.
Wow.
Pulse rifle kills. All that shit's going up.
Here's something funny that I learned the other day that actually made my score go up a little bit. So I play with a bunch of people, and they normally have like hunters and warlocks and titans and everything. And I was playing with a warlock. So we were playing some Iron Banner. I shot a guy. He finished him off. When he killed him, I got a Grimoire card score saying that like 200 warlock kills, something like that. I don't have a warlock. So I was just sitting there like, that's really weird. And I was talking about it like, oh yeah. So apparently, if you get an assist on a kill that another class gets, that counts towards you. Like, so if a warlock kills somebody that you shot first, that kill.
But it's just like if you pay attention with the bounties,
mm-hmm.
like doing it with the enemies and stuff like that, like doing the Vex Ultras or Hive Ultras.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is put damage on them.
Oh yeah.
Someone else kill them, you get the kill. So I'm assuming it's the same system as in process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just think overall, the game itself, I think from a code level it's broken. I think from a game design level is broken. I think the story I actually think is there. It's just not in the game.
Yeah, because the guy who wrote the story, they let him go, and they decided to go a totally different way.
Or maybe he saw the game and was like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't playing this bullshit. You ain't put my name on this shit. But no, I mean, so they have a lot of things going against them. I also think the fact that they have to work on a PS3 and 360 version holds them back.
Correct. Well, let's not forget the fact that although the game looks great on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4, however you want to word it, but let's not forget that this isn't a next gen title.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a very good point. Like maybe the whole concept of, I mean, I don't want to make an excuse for him because the game could have easily been. The game could I guess it had to have been 18 gigs. Because generally speaking, there aren't any games bigger than it on one disc on the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
On 360, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like maybe that's an obvious content restraint.
Yeah. I mean, it can be possible, and that can be why we have to download so much stuff. But the downloading, like I said, just isn't the issue. It's just that lack of content. It's just I know a lot of it has to do with Activision. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and put all this shit on Bungie. I know a ton of the problems have to do with something behind the scenes with Activision making some shots, making some decisions that are alienating everybody. And they're so happy about their numbers and how well Destiny sold. See how fucking happy you are when you put $500 million into making Destiny 2 and no one wants to buy that shit. Myself included. With that being said, though, I mean, I think the future of Destiny right now is that the next content, regardless of when it comes out, House of Wolves will make or break Destiny as a franchise. And I obviously at this point I do think there's some really stupid people at Bungie making decisions. I don't think they're dumb enough to not recognize how in dire need they are to make sure that the content is correct and accurate. I think that's why they delayed it. Because like you said, they have access there. If they can see how many strange coins we're spending, they can obviously see how many hours we're playing. And I know for a fact that they can tell that the numbers have dropped off. I know they know it. And regardless of whatever type of deal they have with Activision, even if they have to make the game, Activision isn't going to keep making the game. It's not selling. They're just not. So I think with House of Wolves, either they'll fix the problems, which I'm hoping they will. I would love to get back into the Destiny world and play. That sense of camaraderie is really great. Or they'll fail, and if they fail, Destiny will fail.
But here's a question which I haven't thought of. Will that whole stuff with comment and all that additional content that may come in September, was there ever talk of how much that cost?
No. There hasn't been a price plan. Based on the content, based on the leaks that came out a while ago, there was supposed to be, I believe, and I may be wrong, I'm not looking at it, it's not in front of me, but it's supposed to be one new raid, I think 2 new strikes,
20 new story missions.
I actually think it's 12. It's not even 20. It's like 12. Yeah, and then it's supposed to be like I think 4 new maps or something like that. I mean, pretty much it's pretty much like one of our expansions, and I like to do my quotes whenever I say expansion because that's not a fucking expansion. It's like pretty much the Dark Below times 4 as far as content, but not times 4 as far as raids. And at this point, it's almost kind of shitty. Like, the raid team, I feel sorry for them somewhat. Because, like, they're pretty much the saving grace of this shitty fucking game right now. And it's really odd to hear myself calling a game shitty one second and the next second saying that I like the fine-tuned gameplay. But that's just the type of feelings that this game gives you. It makes you kind of hate it and love it at the same time. And it's kind of the reason that some people haven't stopped playing yet. But it's ultimately the reason that a lot of people will stop playing. But, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Did you have any other final words?
I think I said all I had to say about
it. Are you looking forward to House of Wolves? Whenever it comes out?
As long as it comes out before The Witcher. Or Arkham Knight.
Alright, well, fair enough. Well, thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you guys again later. This has been another episode of F2Talk. I'm King DX.
Show 60.
And we'll see you guys later.
Peace out.